covering all local and area sports and teams with your host, Scott Hardy. And your phone calls at 256-234-6221. If it's sports in the Lake Martin area, we cover it. The Lake Martin Sports Roundup right now.
Good Tuesday evening, everyone, and welcome in to the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show, live on location, beautiful downtown Alexander City at JR Sports Bar and Grill. As are each and every Tuesday from 6 to 7. Very, very beautiful day outside, so hopefully everyone has had an opportunity to enjoy it. The time going, springing forward a little bit, is giving everybody an opportunity to try to get a little more sunlight. I'm still on the adjustment period of that. I'm a little nocturnal, so I'm still trying to get my clock adjusted to that. But I'll be joined this evening by Justin Mosley, who a lot of times is on our producing side, but has been doing a lot more in front of the camera. So, Justin, I appreciate you joining us tonight.
It's good to be here, Scott.
Yeah, for the Alexander City school systems, they are on their spring break this week, so a little limited so far on what we're able to do for guests. So we do have some great guests lined up tonight, though. We will have Shondell Russo on the track and field team, as well as a couple of his players, C.J. Wyckoff, well, runners actually, C.J. Wyckoff and Dylan Dean. We'll also have the Davil baseball team, Coach Randy Nolan and his seniors as well. So a lot of area baseball taking off right now. But, Justin, anything going on in particular on the local side you'd like to hit on?
Not really. A lot of it's one of my favorite times of year with the NCAA tournament getting started. A lot going into, preparing brackets and, getting ready for an exciting week, and lots of back and forth. Have the previous channel on the remote, working hard, flipping back and forth between games.
Yeah, I'm more of the hit the back button type person. I'll be hitting as we have at work. They've done a better job of that over the years. If you've been able to catch into the CBS games online, they have a boss button, so they make sure that a spreadsheet or something comes up during that time. But we this is kind of a weird thing because I wanted to hit on it during the 7 to 9 show, but you gave us a good segue. I think this time of year creates the most knowledgeable people on things that they're not knowledgeable about. I mean, because everybody comes in and they think that they know about college basketball when they're having to be pressed to talk about it. Dan Levertard, they did a tremendous segment on it yesterday, basically saying who's faking it, and they did it for ESPN, which I thought was even more genius. But what are your thoughts on that? I mean, a lot of time for this, there might be, and I'll speak in that, somebody who watches a lot of college basketball, there really maybe 10 to 15 teams where I can actually say I really know what's going on. Out of a field of 68, that's not doing too well. But what's your overall general synopsis of the tournament so far?
Yeah,
heading into it.
Yeah, I was listening to a show today, and you're talking about how many people actually saw Oregon play. Oregon's a 1 seed. How many people? I was fortunate enough to go to Birmingham and see them play Alabama. But how many people are sitting up on the East Coast saying, I'm gonna stay up to 11 tonight on a Tuesday and catch an Oregon game. You get a lot of that talk during football season. I think sports fans in the Southeast, especially football fans, are a lot more knowledgeable, I think, than a lot of the rest of the country. But football, an SEC football fan is going to watch, a lot of those West Coast games. I don't really know how many people are going to sit up and watch a Tuesday night or Thursday night Pac-12 game. So I think that's interesting, about who's really faking it and who knows what they're talking about. I think that's one of those, this is that time of year, where, more than anything else, people get involved with it. Office brackets and office pools and,
so much money.
Yeah.
So much money. But that sound you hear in the background is our signal to take our first break of the evening. But, again, we're just getting started here at JR's. We'll go ahead and take our first break of the evening. More of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup show right after this.
You're clear.
Welcome back in, everyone, and thanks for joining Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show. Again, we're live on location as we are each and every Tuesday from 6 to 7 at JR Sports Bar and Grill. We couldn't be more pleased to have them as our corporate sponsors for this show. Again, you can come in and get some of the great food off of their menu, or you can call them at 256-329-2328. You can order something, and they will deliver it to you as well. And it doesn't necessarily matter if it's something that's on the menu. They cater for any events as well. So, again, give them a call at 256-329-2328. Right now, we want to transition over to a little local area sports. I have the opportunity to interview a good friend of mine and the head coach of the track and field team for the Benjamin Russell Wildcats, Coach Shundell Russell. So, Shundell, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Scott. I'm glad to be here, man. Just glad to be here, get an opportunity to talk to you guys about the track and field team at Benjamin Russell High School.
Yeah, so first year as a coach. For somebody, I don't know if track was available as a sport during your time, but you probably were playing baseball if that would have been the case. But what was your expectations like coming into it, and then once you did get involved with the sport, what did you learn that you didn't know before?
Well, my expectations coming in was to learn a lot, read a lot about it, so I could, be able to advise my players on the right stretches and how to prepare for the races. And when I came in, a lot of kids came out. We decided not to cut any kids, and the program is actually in a transition. We're getting better, and the culture is changing, and the kids are buying in, and they're working hard.
What type of athletes make up good track stars?
Big, strong athletes and fast ones, of course, but, somebody who comes with a positive attitude, somebody who wants to work hard, somebody who has goals that are trying to achieve their goals. And most of our kids, they're working hard, Some of them are watching others work hard and they're buying in. And, we got a lot of them out there. We got about 63 kids, middle school and high school. And, our attendance has been getting better. The work ethic has grown from the first day. And the kids, they just buying in, and they enjoying themselves as well.
And speaking of buying in, that tends to be something that a lot of coaches tend to say when they're speaking about athletes in Benjamin Russell. And I know we'll have the opportunity to catch it with some kids from Dayville here coming up. But something that a lot of people around this area always say is that, at least on the coaching staff side, is that the kids usually buy into what they're trying to do. So obviously for a first-year coach, that definitely is going to help you in your progression as a coach as well as with the team. But we'll go ahead and dive into how you guys have been doing so far. Can you give us a little overview of how the season is going?
Well, the season started, we were in Hoover. We went up there for some relays, and we was up there competing with all the teams from the Birmingham area. And we kind of came middle of the pack up there. We learned a lot. We got to see some teams do things the right way, and we came back. We worked hard, and on this past Thursday, we went to Lincoln. And before the storm came, we were winning a lot of the races. We seemed to be one of the premier teams up there, but, it got rained out. It wasn't an official meet. We'll pick up this Saturday in Beauregard, and very tough competition up there. So I think from day one, we've grown. The kids have matured, and they just giving great effort. And over spring break, we've been working hard in preparation for Saturday. But, the kids, they're doing a great job, and, that's all I can ask.
Yeah, and comparative to some other teams that you guys have faced, where would you say we are as a program in comparison to some of the opponents we've had?
As a program, I say we're growing because we got great distance guys that led by Dylan Dean. He leads our distance people, and he wins almost every distance race he competes in. We got great sprinters thanks to all the workout they do at the school with Coach Horn and lifting all them weights and running all them sprints. So we usually second or third or fourth in the sprints and in the 100 meters and the 200 meters. So things we got to improve on are things like the field events, things like, the hurdles. We got places where we can improve as a team and become a better group.
We're here with the head coach of the Benjamin Russell track and field team, Shundell Russell, and talking to him about how the season has gone so far. So you guys have had a couple. So you've only had one. That was the only meet. So the second meet. So what's coming up for?
Coming up for, we got go to Beauregard this coming up week, and then we're going to go back to Lincoln next week. So those are our next two meets, and we look forward to continue the growth and to continue to be more mature and just go out there and compete and represent Benjamin Russell and Alexander City the best we can.
And you named 63, saying that you have 63 rostered athletes on the team. Where does that rank in comparison to some of the other teams? Just so I know you said the program is growing, but for people who may be interested and maybe didn't realize there was opportunity for them to get involved, the numbers.
The numbers are up
Okay.
compared to last year when they had about 35 kids. But when we went to Hoover, when we went to Lincoln, no doubt we had the biggest team there. You know, we may not be coming in first, but we got the most kids participate. You know, and that comes from myself and my assistant coaches, Latricia Moon and Thomas Leonard. You know, they also the kids they bought in, they enjoy being at practice, and that's why we got such high numbers. You know, so we're giving everybody an opportunity. We just want them to continue to work, continue to be dedicated, and that's all we can ask them to do.
Well, for any athletes out there who may not have a spring sport or maybe are not athletes at all or looking to get involved in track and field, what would be your advice for them? Obviously, this season's over, but maybe during the summer and some off-season things they can do to get prepared for track.
Well, always continue to run and exercise on your own. It promotes great health, but you know, outdoor track is available, cross country is available, and we hopefully will have an indoor team next year that'll be available. So, you know, if you don't play any of the mainstream sports, so-called football, baseball, you're welcome to come out for track. You're welcome to participate in cross country. You know, it'll only help you as an individual and person to be a better person. Just get out here and run and exercise. Do the best you can.
Always fun catching up with Shandell Russo. Well, real quickly, before I know we're about a month out from football season, but you're losing a lot of guys, a lot of seniors, a lot of experience on this football team, but a lot of guys, because of the amount of wins that we've had over the last couple of seasons and the type of wins we've had, you've had some younger guys get a lot of playing experience. So can you give us a little insight as to what maybe we can expect for the 2016 Benja Russell Wildcat football team?
Well, you can expect a hard-nosed bunch of hungry young men. You know, Coach Danny Horn does an incredible job in the weight room with these guys running twice or three times a week, and we just gonna continue to learn, gonna continue to work, and I guarantee you, the football team that we put on the football field will make the city of Alexander City happy.
Absolutely. Well, again, that was Chanel Russo, who is the head coach of the track and field team for the Benja Russell Wildcats. We'll go ahead and take another break, and we'll return. We'll have Dylan Dean and CJ Wyckoff representing that same track team. More of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup show right after this.
Take it when you want.
Jay Wyckoff. Yeah. Welcome in, and thanks for joining the Late Morning Sports Roundup show. Again, we just had a great segment with the head coach of the Benjamin Russell track and field team, Coach Shondell Russo, who also serves as a defensive coach for the Benjamin Russell football team, trying to get a little insight as what to expect from them this fall, as well as catching up with him on what his track and field team has been doing. But right now, we want to welcome in a familiar guest to the show, Dylan Dean, as well as his teammate, CJ Wyckoff. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Scotty.
We'll start to my right. CJ, what sports do you participate in for the team?
I played in football. I was senior, cornerback. And I do also 4x1, 4x2, 100-meter dash for the track team.
So 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash, obviously those are your fast guys there. So what's a typical time that a winner would have? Not necessarily, what are some of the better times, or what's something that you root for?
Something that I go for, I know my fastest 200, 24. It can come down, though. Some of them have times in like 22, 23, something like that. So I shoot for, I'm going to make myself get better so I can be in one of those times. Hundreds, 10 people running 10.5, 10.7. So my fastest is 11. 10.9 was the fastest I really did. But
10.9, that's getting it still though. So what do you think makes track such a good sport? Why do you think you're well suited for track?
Because with track you have to push yourself. Like, you just can't just get out there and try to run and think you can just do it all of a sudden. You have to put the time and effort into it. And I like competition. So running, best thing for me.
Yeah, and that is, at the end of the day, whether it's long distance or it's short distance, when you're a kid, who can get to that fence over there the quickest or whatever. So that's the basis of competition, is where it begins, is really running. So that is something, if you're a competitive person, track and field is definitely a sport we can use. And we'll transition over to you, Dylan. We've got our short distance runner here, and CJ, you more of the long distance. What runs or what activities do you take place in with track and field?
Well, during track and field, I'm really focusing on the mid distance to the distance. This year, I'm focused on the mile and the 2 mile. And whenever we get closer to in section and state, I'll probably try to run in the triple, go 800, 1600, and 3200, which is half mile, mile, and 2 mile. And that's probably what I'll be trying to do once we get to section and state. But right now, after this week, I'm going to be focusing on mainly the mile and the 2 mile, trying to get those times better and faster right now.
With cross country, with track and field, are you seeing some of the same kids that you would face during the cross country, or do you have a lot of crossover in both sports?
No, the competition usually stays the same. There might be a couple of guys that come in, but it's almost the same. We're running around the track in loops instead of running through the woods, which kind of makes a difference, kind of gets monotonous whenever we get to like the 2 mile and stuff, having to do 8 laps. That can get a little in your mind, but and like the mile and the 2 mile, it's mainly like mind over body type of thing, because you get really tired, but you know that you only have 400 meters left, so you got to push it. Those first 2 laps feel easy, shorter than cross country, so you get to go a little bit faster. The pace picks up a little bit more each lap, and the competition kind of stays there instead of you being able to get on by yourself, as I did kind of a little bit in cross country. But yeah, mainly stay with the pack, especially in the 2 mile if you got some good guys. But it's always, great competition. It always kind of stays the same whenever we get to that, though.
Gotcha. Again, we're here with CJ Wyckoff and Dylan Dean, members of the 2016 Benjamin Russell track and field team. And Dylan, we'll stay with you. Tell me something funny about being coached by Coach Russo.
Certainly is something surprising. This first year I've not played baseball, so I've had him since 9th grade, coaching me in the outfield, coaching me in baseball. It's quite a surprising transition. It's pretty fun. Me and him have always gotten along. We've always had a good relationship, and going into track season, it's really been fun having him as a coach. Makes the experience very fun and making it very enthusiastic.
CJ, same thing for you.
Well, with me, I had him for football, and he's always been the one, like when he's coaching or he's trying to tell you something, he'll interact with you with it. And with football, he wants to show you how to tackle. He gonna get down there and wrap you up. And with track, when we doing our agilities, bringing feet up, and they be over there on the pit jumping and stuff, he'll get down there and run and do it too, or he'll kick his feet up too and do it. And then, it's funny hearing him say, yeah, when you get ready to do something. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, guys, your next meet is this Saturday in Beauregard. What can we expect?
A win.
A win. I'll take that.
Show up and show out.
Show up and show out, Mr. D.
Yes, sir. I like to show up, show out. I think our distance teams will be able to do pretty well. I'll be in the DMR, which is distance medley relay, and I'll anchor the 1600. Hoping that will do good in the 4x1600. We'll do pretty decent. I think our sprint teams are going to do really well. I think, we've been getting faster and faster with having races every week. Races make you faster, I believe. And I think this Saturday is going to be something special. I think we can kind of get a breakthrough and start getting faster, I believe.
Absolutely. Well, guys, congratulations so far on what you've been able to achieve, and look forward to seeing what you guys do the rest of the season. But most importantly, good luck this Saturday as well as the rest of your senior campaign. But that again was CJ Walkoff and Dylan Dean, members of the 2016 track and field team for the Benjamin Russell Wildcats. We're going to head and take another break, and when we return, Justin and I will continue talking a little bit about March Madness, and we'll also have some interviews set up with the Davil senior baseball team. More of the Late March Sports Roundup show right after this.
Thank you, Scott. What position you play?
Third and left.
How about you, Cal?
Center field.
Hey, you guys got about 45 seconds? Any idea?
Not too good.
That's fine.
Not too good.
Y'all coming up.
30. You guys got a minute? $45 seconds. All right, 30 seconds to bumper, guys. Ten, 5, 4, 3, 2, and your bumper. you have to say good morning.
Welcome back into the Lake Martin Sports Roundup. Here now with a couple of Dadeville baseball players, Cal Jones and Kyle Harkins. Guys, how are you doing tonight?
Good.
Great. Cal, let's start with you. What you play center field? What you guys come off a tournament this past weekend?
We played Opelika. Played pretty good. Just didn't come away with the wins.
Okay, great. How's the season going so far?
We play good at times, and just got a lot of young guys, and we're improving on the season. Maybe we'll be a lot better by area.
All right, Kyle. How do you feel about the season so far?
So far, so good. Just need to start making more plays in the field, and other than that, we'll be pretty good.
All right, is the field a weakness for you guys right now, or just a little bit farther ahead on the offensive side?
We're good with the bats. Just, I would say pitching is iffy, but we just got to stay down, pound the mitt, and we'll make plays in the field.
All right, are you guys on spring break this week also? Okay, just Alexander City Schools. You'll have a game coming up this week?
Oh, we play Saturday.
Play Saturday.
Gadsden. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Is it a tournament?
3-team tournament, us, Gadsden, and Piedmont.
All right, and so Cal, tell us about your plans for after this season of baseball.
Well, I'm signed with Alabama to play baseball, so just ready to get up there and go to work and have some good seasons up there, hopefully, and just excited about it.
Yeah, got a nice new stadium to play in next year. Have you been up to see it yet?
Oh, yeah, I went and watched them play a few times. It's nice.
Yeah, okay. Was there a certain thing about Mitch Gaspard and his program that drew you there?
Yeah, I've always been a huge Alabama fan, and just love the coaches, love the atmosphere, and just can't wait to be up there.
Great. I know they're playing Southern Miss right now. Kyle, how about you? Do you have plans for after high school baseball?
Not at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you said you guys are a little young this year. That give you a chance to be a leader? Do you have a leadership role on the team, you guys? Or
Oh yeah, definitely. Being a senior and only having 2 is tough, anyways. But definitely, pretty good leaders, and got some good juniors and just a lot of younger guys playing right now.
Same for you, Kyle.
Yeah, just like you said, the 2 seniors. We just have to step up and fill in those positions. And the younger guys next year, they should be ready for it.
Great. Do you have a preference? You like to swing the bat or play the field, or about even with both?
Probably about even with both.
I like swinging it.
Yeah. All right. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate it, and we'll go ahead and take a break. That's Cal Jones and Kyle Harkins, Dadeville Baseball. We'll be back in just a few minutes with more Lake Martin Sports Roundup.
Clear.
Appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hey guys, you there?
At JR's Sports Bar and Grill in Alex City, where everyone knows your name.
Hey guys, you there? Hey guys, you got 2 minutes, but we only have one more break in the format until the end of the show. There's only one more break left.
Yeah, you can. That you've already.
We can, yeah, we can.
That's just what we do on TV side. Sorry, I got thrown in there at the last second with that one. Didn't have any idea.
Yeah, I understand. That's fine. Apparently, there's a commercial that wasn't supposed to be in, and John's mad. So, yay. There's a minute 20, guys.
All right. All right, have a good one.
45 seconds still, Bumper. All right, 30 seconds. $15. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it when you want it.
Welcome back into the Lake Martin Sports Roundup. It's presented by Sportz Blitz here at beautiful downtown Alexander City at JR Sports Bar and Grill. Come on out and get you guys some good chicken fingers and some good chicken wings tonight. There's NIT basketball on right now and a little bit of college baseball. Good matchup tonight. Number 1, Florida, and number 11, Florida State on the TV here at JR Sports Bar and Grill. Come on out and enjoy it. And we'll move on to a few other topics tonight. Get you guys ready for Sports Blitz Live from 7 to 9. Scott Hardy and I will be hosting that one as well. And we got a lot to talk about tonight, Scott, with college basketball, the NCAA tournament getting started tonight. This we were talking about it earlier. This one seems like it's going to be a tough one to pick this year. The bracket. You got any thoughts on where to go? You going to flip some coins or?
Normally there are about two. Well, I'll say this. Any of my friends that know me, there are two teams that you can pretty much look for me to pick to slide through the bracket for a long distance of time, and that is going to be Michigan State and Duke. And no surprise, I do have Michigan State going pretty deep. Duke, a number 4 seed this year. Not really. This reminds me more of the Jabari Parker team that they had a couple of years ago, where they have a star in Ingram and you have some other players, but as a whole, that is your star player. And if he isn't playing well, then they're going to suffer. And I could see in the tournament going up against some teams that match up better than them. So Sweet 16, them not making it to the Sweet 16 would definitely be something I wouldn't be surprised about. But something you'll hear me say a lot on this 7-9 show, and I know I said it 1,000 times during the finals a couple weeks ago in Birmingham, but in tournament play, the two things that I always look at are your point guard play and your coaches. And so there are a couple of great point guards, Valentine being somebody for me from Michigan State who I think leads the pack. But a team maybe like Providence, who possesses the same types of players, they may have probably the two best players in their region. It could be one and done. So in those types of situations, it's kind of difficult to kind of see. But as you said, we were talking about it before the show started, and this could be a year really where if you went chalk, you really may not be that bad if you went chalk. So I think I had 3 number 1s in my bracket in the Final Four. So it's one of those years where I don't really see a team like a Butler or Wichita State or somebody like that making a long run.
Yeah, I've got Duke going to the Final Four. I'm going to go ahead and give away a little bit of my picks for tonight. But I'm with you. I think Coach K's record in the NCAA tournament, or his winning percentage, is like 78%. It's hard to pick against a guy that. The NCAA tournament, a lot of times the regular season you can throw out the window. there's some great development and things that go on, but you get a Duke team hot, and they're hard to stop just because Coach K is just so smart. Close game at the end, he's getting extra possessions by fouling at the right time. If they're down, it's hard for me to pick against him. And the other thing that makes this one hard for me to pick is how tough that East region is.
It's by
that
far
thing
the
is
toughest.
loaded. You've got UNC and Xavier are the 1 and 2 seeds in there, and then you throw in West Virginia as a 3 seed, and
Kentucky as a 4.
I mean, that one is really, really loaded, and I had a tough time running through that one and picking the winners in that bracket.
But again, and we're going to dive into each region on the 7 to 9 show. So get familiar with Justin and myself's face and voice. But it's a crapshoot, to be honest, because as a whole, again, I've probably watched in depth maybe 10 to 15 of these teams, and it's the teams that are the top of the bracket. Like, I don't know, I didn't see Providence play. I mean, I know they're top guys, but I didn't watch Providence play. I didn't watch Iona play or anything. Like, I don't know any of these teams, so it's easy for me to say, they should beat them or they should beat them, but I'm not going to parade around in it like I know everything there is to know about the basketball tournament. But I think that the content gets a little diluted once you get to about day 3. So tomorrow, you've heard about every matchup you can see, dark horses start to emerge, some teams that some sleepers that you maybe thought would be contenders, maybe you change your mind. So this is kind of the last second for you to be able to change your mind for your bracket purposes. And I've done fairly well in some of the competitions that we've had through the years of Sports Blitz. But it's kind of the same thing that always happens to me. I usually finish in second place or I'm dead last. So one of the two. I never really do too much in between. But Justin, where do you think the NCAA tournament ranks as a whole for sporting events? Maybe with you, not as a whole, but maybe where does it rank with you?
With me, it's really, really high. I love college football. I can talk about it year round. But these next 3 weeks, I'm glued to the television. It doesn't matter to me what the matchup is until it's a blowout, of course. Then I'm flipping around finding something else. But it's just so marketable, and it's so like we were talking earlier, it just involves people who have no clue about basketball, just because there's an office bracket or a group of friends gets together and starts a bracket. So many people, pay attention to it just for that reason. And, but I love it. I love college basketball. I really wish Alabama was playing a part in it and not in the NIT tonight. Although, and NIT berth is probably overachieving greatly for Avery Johnson in his first year, especially with, the talent that he was left with and the big injury. Early on to Dazon Ingram. I'm still excited. It'll be on tonight during the show, and I'm hoping to sneak over and get a few peeks at it, as we're on the show tonight, and excited to, it's like bowl season for a football team, especially if you've got young players, it's extra practices, extra reps, doing everything. And, especially if you can, win a couple of games, that's huge for development for next year.
Yeah, especially for a team that's like Alabama, who really, I'm not going to say overachieve. If as an Alabama fan, you can use that. I don't want to rile up any feathers, but I'll say that I think Alabama's progression as a basketball program is going about as quickly as one could hope for if you're a fan of the team. I think Avery Johnson was a tremendous hire initially. I didn't think so. I kind of laughed at it. I thought that Bruce Pearl was definitely the better hire, but at the time I think Auburn was in such desperate need of a change. I don't think that Tony Barber was a better coach than Anthony Grant. So I think Anthony Grant definitely was the better coach, and Auburn fans probably would have taken Anthony Grant over Tony Barber. But comparing the two situations, I thought that Avery Johnson walked into a more stable situation just because it wasn't like y'all were going winning 3 or 4 games in the conference. You were roughly around 500, maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit low, but you kind of hovered around 500 the whole time Anthony Grant was there. With Tony Barbie, it was disastrous. So you, as an Auburn fan, you're like, okay, we've got something good. But for Alabama to be able to have as much national presence around the bubble watch, I mean, that in itself, I joke with our friend Swole Graven all the time, but in reality, it is better sometimes to be on the bubble, or at least be in contention for a NCAA tournament spot and make the NIT than to be in Auburn situation and you're praying that you win 5 games in a row so in the SEC tournament so you get to postseason play because that's your only opportunity. But from an Alabama side, I think that you have a lot of great things in store, and a lot of that has to do with who's the head coach for the Tide right now. Yeah,
and I mean, I get your point. It's hard to say that Avery Johnson coming in was a great hire just on its face, but he never coached college basketball, so it was a big question. What's he going to be able to do? But he markets a program, he sells a program, he's out, on campus, getting people there. Alabama finished in the top 25 in attendance in college basketball this year. So that goes to show you that he's getting people out there, getting people into Coleman Coliseum. Home court advantage. It's so huge in college basketball, and being able to sell a basketball program at a football school is a tough thing to do, and it takes a special kind of person. It takes a marketer. It takes somebody who's high energy all the time, and that's something that Avery Johnson is. He's also turned out to be a really good in-game coach. Mm-hmm. Two things that Anthony Grant unfortunately was not, and that's a salesman of his program, and lack of making in-game adjustments, and I think that was I really think the first not being a salesman of his program, your team needs to see that you're somebody who believes in what you're doing, especially at an Alabama where football is everything. And Avery Johnson's just done a really remarkable job of coming in there and turning around the atmosphere more than anything. You don't expect a lot in the first year, from a basketball program to turn it around on the court, but turning around the atmosphere and getting some guys who were there last year to develop and play better this year.
Yeah, and the one thing too, I think when he came in, I think he understood coming to Alabama that basketball was not going to be the top priority, but as a way to sell the program, use the success of the football program and Nick Saban's influence over the athletic department to try to create as much buzz and awareness as possible, which is something he's done. And again, I'm with you on the marketing of the program. I think in basketball, that is the biggest thing as a coach outside of recruiting. Recruiting overall is the top thing for any coach, but for him to be able to come in and have all the social media aspects that he's had and fan engagement, alumni engagement, everybody that you talk to likes the direction of the program. So, again, I think him coming in realizing that, and maybe that took some pressure off of him as well, knowing that, this isn't the Dallas Mavericks where we are the top dog in town and like we're a premier team, whereas with Alabama, all they're really asking you to do is be tournament caliber team every year. The likelihood of you win a national championship in basketball isn't that high. But if you're sustaining success for multiple years, and I think that's all you can ask for as an Alabama fan. But again, we are up against another break. When we return, we'll wrap things up for the final segment here of the Late Martin Sports Roundup Show. More of Justin and myself right after this.
You guys are clear.
Yeah, that was tough.
They were so quiet.
That's the toughest kind, really, when you get into like that, because you're really doing all the talking.
No way.
5, 4, 3, 2. You can take it when you want it. You're live.
Really didn't want to go live because that's some of my favorite bumper music there. But again, we are here at JR Sports Bar and Grill for the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup show. Final segment of the evening. We've had a great show. Justin and I have broken down a little bit of the NCAA tournament, kind of just scratching the surface there. We will be with you from 7 to 9, so we'll be talking a little bit more of that on the Sports Blitz side, more statewide stuff. But locally, we had the opportunity to talk to Coach Shundell Rusall and his track and field team as well. We had 2 of their members, CJ Wyckoff as well as Dylan Dean, catch up with them. They have a big tournament this weekend, or excuse me, big meet this weekend in Beauregard, so hopefully they'll be able to compete really well. And looking over on the Dable side of things, we had 2 of their baseball players on. They've been doing a tremendous job, have SEC signees on their team, and so you're looking for them to continue the success that they've had and look to see what they'll have going down the future. But giving you a little primer of what to expect on the 7 to 9 show, Justin Mosley and myself on Sports Blitz Live. We'll be talking the NCAA tournament. I know that may not affect a lot of people around here, but from an SEC standpoint, you do have 3 teams in the tournament. Vanderbilt playing tonight against Wichita State, so that should be a big game in their play-in game for them. Kentucky, number 4 seed, and A&M, a number 3. Something, too, that we'll be hitting on is a recent Business Insider article reflecting how much some of the tournament players are worth in a free market system. And I'll say this, it is very alarming to see the amount of money that some of these kids are actually worth to the university and for them not to receive anything. So I'm sure that'll be a hot button topic as well. I have the Bama Blitz with Luke Robinson talking about the NIT and spring practice. We'll go over our players of the week, and something I'm really, really looking forward to talking about is something that our good friend Andy Graham came up with, and he broke down over the last 15 years, 10 years, and last 5 years the combined win total of the big 3 sports in the SEC. And if you're an Auburn fan, it will definitely make you shed a tear, because as soon as I saw it, I got a little depressed. But again, we will also have the opportunity to catch up with Andy Graham for the Auburn Blitz portion of the show to recap Auburn sports weekend, Auburn's ranking in those top 3 sports, as well as how spring practice has been going. But again, I think this time of year, everything really revolves around the NCAA tournament and basketball. Whether it be a work-related pool or some friends or family, everybody has some interest first come Thursday and Friday. And I know a lot of people will be working, although some people in this area on spring break. I know that I'll definitely will be having to make do and make just use of the boss button for the CBS coverage for this Thursday and Friday. But again, we are getting things primed up for you, ready for Sports Blitz Live. We want to appreciate our corporate sponsor here for JR Sports Bar and Grill for being such, such great sponsors. They've been a tremendous asset to us, and we hope that this relationship continues for a very long time. Quick plug there for United Way. We're in the midst of a book drive for our summer reading program for this summer. It will be held at Stevens Elementary. We have a book drive box here at JR, so if you are in the area and have some children's books that you'd like to donate, come in and get some great food as well as drop off some of their books. Again, we thank you guys for joining us here on Sports Blitz Live, Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup show. For Justin Mosley and our producers in the back, saying thank you for joining us. Sports Blitz Live coming up next.